Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for the Chair and President of DMCI Holdings Inc. and the 46th MAP Management Man of the Year, Mr. Isidro "SID Consunji.
For decades, Isidro "SID Consunji has been quietly changing our country for the better. A civil engineering graduate of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, SID studied business and management at the Asian Institute of Management, Center for Research and Communication, and IESE Business School in Barcelona, Spain. After leading the public listing of DMCI Holdings in 1995, he assembled the business portfolio using the engineering and construction competency of DM Consunji Inc. The DMCI Group's ability to move earth and mobilize resources has allowed it to build not just structures, but enterprises that benefit millions of Filipinos. Today, its businesses are pioneers and key players in the construction, real estate, mining, energy, and water distribution industries. Operating mostly outside Metro Manila, DMCI companies are among the biggest investors, employers, and revenue sources in their host communities. The decision to invest in rural areas is as much a personal initiative as it is a corporate one. SID Consunji, engineer, manager, patriot.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause to the MAP Management Man of the Year 2022, Mr. Isidro "SID Consunji. May I request the following to please come up the stage to present the award. My fellow kapatid, MAP President Babe Singson, and let me reiterate what he said, that he has nothing to do with the selection of our MMY awardee. MMY Judging Committee Chair Ed Chua, MMY Search Committee Chair Gigi Montinola. Now, we would like to call on our awardee, the Chair and President of DMCI Holdings Inc., Mr. Isidro "SID Consunji. Maraming salamat. Mr. Chua, President Babes, Gigi, thank you very much. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, let us now listen to the acceptance speech of our awardee, Mr. SID CONSUNJI.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a confession to make. When I learned I was going to be nominated to the MAP Management Man of the Year award, I asked that I could be withdrawn from consideration. I don't think I have done anything extraordinary to deserve the nomination. You see, Wasisip, Cesar Benaventura, Cesar Virata, and my dad were my real-life heroes. Growing up, I witnessed their brilliance, passion, and love of country. I saw how they shaped their profession, championed progress, and made life better for others. In my mind, they were in a very different league altogether. So imagine my shock when I received a call from Cesar Benaventura telling me I was this year awardee. So if my father was here today, I'm sure he would laugh and say, "Paano nangyari yan eh? Kamote yan eh." Anyway, Dad, wherever you are, I hope this kamote made you and Mom proud. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, some people see life as a series of moments. For me, being an avid reader, I see it as a book with blank chapters. Yeah. You pen your own story and hope in the end it's one worth reading and retelling. This is my story. Engineering comes from the Latin word ingeniare and ingenium, which means to devise and cleverness. I am referring to these terms to give you an idea of how I came to be. You see, I was never cut out to be an engineer. Initially, I was an economics major in Ateneo. But after seeing the mini-skirted women in UP Diliman, I devised a way to convince my father for me to transfer schools. So I told him, I want to be a civil engineer, you know. Hindi niya alam, miniskirts lang hilig ko. So anyway, my father, elated with my decision, allowed me to enroll in UP. Unfortunately, my cleverness did not translate to strong academic performance. It took me 6 years to finish a 5-year course. I wasn't very much interested in studying, so I stopped for 2 semesters, tried to earn some money, so I worked in our motor pool and in our logging concession. This time I spent in the field was quite enlightening and informative for me. At the age of 18, I learned to deal with difficult employees, angry suppliers, and tough customers. Just as crucial, I discovered the importance of productivity, efficiency, and cash flow in running a business. This was my first experience in managing a business. Eventually, I went back to UP to finish my degree. I also took up my civil engineering board exam to please my mother. As a firstborn son and second of 8 children, I had more than my share of tender and loving care. May kasamang palo at sermon. So, I was a handful growing up, and my father did his best to instill discipline in me. Many of you who knew my father and his remarkable work ethic. He was thorough, structured, and extremely hardworking. He lived and breathed construction, and his passion to build made him an industry legend. Even in his 90s, he would go around our construction site, meticulously drilling our project managers about their work programs. I saw construction through a different lens. To me, it was a business tool and not an end in itself. I was more interested in finding ways to leverage our technical background and to identify and maximize commercial opportunities. That's when I realized that I'm more of a business manager than an engineer. My interest was in value creation, business transformation, not solely construction. So I decided to enroll in AIM to learn more about the science of business and management. Unfortunately, I never completed my management course. Puro lakwatsa. So, anyway, I became too busy working in our hotel projects during the IMF conference in Manila. However, the time spent in IIM was invaluable as it cemented my passion for business. When DMCI was founded in 1954, my father's ultimate objective was to build not only an enterprise, but an institution. By that, he meant a business that could provide service to the community, stability and protection to its people. Fast forward 30 years, and still we were nowhere near that. Ironically, after completing the world's biggest palace, the Sultan's Palace in Brunei, the MCI had to retrench many of its best engineers and workers because there was no work coming to it. At that time, the Philippine economy was in disarray. Construction demand also dried up almost immediately after the assassination of Senator Ninoy Aquino. As you know, laying off people is one of the toughest decisions of a company could ever make. It affects the health, livelihood, well-being of employees and their families. But being a contractor, we had very limited survival options. We couldn't formulate a corporate plan or a strategy because we were always dependent on the kind of projects our clients will do or won't do, or even then whether we'll win the job or not. And so from being a contractor, I convinced my father to become an investor as well. So in 1995, we listed DMCI Holdings and raised enough funds to expand and diverse into other industries. We acquired assets and invested in projects that could generate revenues and growth for DMCI. That decision brought us closer to building an institution. Today, the DMCI Group has a total workforce of over 35,000 people. We have engineers and foremen who have been with us for more than 20, 30 years. Some of their children have even found employment in our companies. Our business portfolio currently includes energy, real estate, mining, and water distribution, all of which draws from our engineering and construction background. I must admit, luck played a big role in our expansion. In certain cases, we were delivered from failure and financial ruin by commodity rallies, in particular gold and nickel. The financial fall down of 2008 gave us the opportunity to bid for Calaca, which was already won by Suez at the time. They had to give it up because they couldn't do financial closing. And in particular, wise advices from our very good friends. It took us decades to get to this point, and the process, while fulfilling, was many times daunting, painful, and draining. Looking back, I can think of 3 galvanizing moments for the DMCI Group. The Asian crisis. A year into our listing, the Asian financial crisis happened. The whole country had no liquidity, and banks did not renew our short-term credit lines. To generate liquidity, we formed DMCI Homes to turn our idle lands into residential condominiums. Up to now, it has taken us 8 iterations before we got our 2-bedroom format right, because we knew very little about the real estate market. We were a bunch of engineers who tried very hard to become developers, marketers, and salespeople. I credit Freddie Austria and his team for making DMCI Homes a viable business and a market leader in its main product segment. In the late 1990s, we invested in what others considered a zombie company, Semirara Coal Corporation. It was not only heavily indebted and hemorrhaging money, the product was so bad that it was rejected by the market. They even referred to it as Semirara Clay. To transform the company, we focused on raising production and improving quality. We changed our mining method from continuous mining to selective mining and put up a coal washing plant on the island. These initiatives allowed us to create new domestic and foreign markets for Semirara coal. And that assured the survival of the company. And today, our biggest profit maker, Semirara Corporation. It was my brother Victor and his Strata Lieutenant George San Pedro who spearheaded the transformation and rallied our people to embrace these changes. Because of this collective effort, Semirara Mining and Power Corporation is now the most modern coal mine in the country, accounting for over 96% of domestic coal production. Another galvanizing moment was our acquisition of Maynilad in participation with Metro Pacific of Manny Pangilinan. In 2006, it was our single biggest investment and the most dramatic fundraising activity. Wala kasi kami pera noon eh. Bid kami, bid na bid, wala naman pera. Anyway, so. Herbie Consunji moved mountains to raise $3 billion in equity and $240 million of standby LC provided by Bobby Pandillo of JP Morgan. And we had to borrow from multiple sources and pledge Semirara shares as well as DMCI contract to sell paper. Knowing that we will lose our shirts if our joint venture failed, Herbie agreed to be the DMCI representative in Maynilad. Together with Babe Singson and Randy Estrellado of Metro Pacific, they did much of the heavy lifting to turn Maynilad around. In the book of Proverbs, King Solomon wrote that iron shapes iron. So likewise, one person shapes another, sharpens another. I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by these exceptional people who sharpened me to becoming the manager I am today. I will always be grateful to the roles they played in my life. At this point, I would like to acknowledge a few more people who were instrumental in redefining the future of the DMCI group. My siblings, who support and work together with me in our public and private companies. Ate Jing, George, Lucy, Christina, and Dinky. Dad was correct. None of us is as good as all of us. He knew that we had different strengths and different weaknesses. So he insisted that we all work together. I'm glad we followed his advice. My parents, siblings, Victor and Nene, I wish you were here to share this moment with the rest of the family. Our board of directors, both past and present, for their invaluable time and wisdom. Their guidance over the years has made our family better stewards and managers. I would particularly like to thank Cesar Benaventura, the first civil engineer of DMCI. As my mentor and vice chairman of DMCI Holding, CAB, as we fondly call him, showed me that engineers can be good managers in whatever industry they choose to be. Our professional managers, whose determination and hard work allowed our companies to survive many challenging times, know that I appreciate you all immensely. Our workers, thousands of DMCI workers who day in, day out perform difficult, demanding, and sometimes dirty work so we can deliver quality products and services on time, well, at least most of the time. Our creditors, clients, and business partners, particularly SID CONSUNJI and the team of Nestor Tan in BDO, Ed Francisco and Walter Wasmer. Thank you for not pulling the rug from under us when the going got rough, and for always giving us the financial backing we needed to grow our businesses. And the countless, nameless others who trusted and supported our companies all these years. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. My story is not yet done. I think I have enough gas in the tank to start a second career. In a few years, I may surprise all of you. With more idle time, I hope to foray into agriculture and create sustainable value in the countryside. But I think I've taken enough of your time. So I'd like to end my speech by sharing some life lessons from my 50 years as a management professional. I hope these lessons will find their way into the consciousness of our next generation leaders and managers. First, play to your team's strength. When we were building our business portfolio, we didn't have much financial strength. I had to be cautious in our investments. I would always ask myself, do we have the organizational competence to make up for our small balance sheet? As leaders and business managers, we need to have a clear understanding of our organization and what our people can do. I believe that self-knowledge and humility leads to better decision-making. That's pretty much the reason why we're not in hospitality or entertainment business. Di namin kayang umiti buong araw eh. Anyway, in 1997, we always strive for win-win outcome. In 1997, we issued preferred shares to raise 2.4 billion pesos for our expansion plan. Unfortunately, the coal, construction, and real estate markets took a nosedive, and so did our profitability. We struggled to meet our payment obligation and caused us an uproar among our shareholders. It was Bobit Panlilio, then PCIB COO, who got us through that difficult time. Following his personal advice, we developed different repayment schemes and options to our shareholders. And so doing, we were able to escape corporate bankruptcy. Has always helped us informally in our discussions, and even provided the $240 million standby LC for us to bid in the Maynilad bid in 2006. So, to this day, I remind our people in DMCI Group, when you invite people to a party, make sure everybody eats. So whether in business or in social gatherings, wala dapat nagugutom. Third, spread the sunshine. I thank Dr. Bernie Villegas for teaching me this lesson. He was responsible for instilling a spiritual character in my work. Through him, I realized that making a profit is not the sole objective of business. Instead, business should be a catalyst for shared prosperity. That we should do what we can to bring sunshine into the lives of our fellow Filipinos. I don't consider myself a religious man, but I believe your work can be your prayer. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my story so far. With the urgings of those for Villegas, I hope to pen new chapters on my second career in agricultural initiatives. I look forward to sharing with you someday. Thank you for listening. And to the Board of Governors, led by President Babe Singson, as well as to the members of the Management Man of the Year Search and Judging Committees, my sincerest gratitude to this distinct privilege. I believe this is the highest recognition a Philippine management manager could ever achieve, and I am humbled to be this year's awardee. Marami po salamat. Magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Congratulations again, Mr. Consunji.